We created 3 conditions. And the first condition, what we did was we took that video from Coke and we embedded it in an email and we sent it to our subjects. It's a nationally representative sample. This was Americans, not international, about 300 subjects. And we asked them a battery of questions, but we just asked them, whether they wanted to share the video. And we can monitor who they shared it with, how willing they were to share it. We actually monitored whether they were drinking a beverage at the time of the experiment as well. And then we also measured after the fact why they shared it if they did share it. And we created a second condition where Coke, the video was shared by a stranger. So it wasn't a friend of yours, it was a stranger. And they emailed it to you. So those were the 2 main conditions we ran. And the biggest effect we found was that on a 7-point scale, where 7 was very likely to share or actually did share, and 1 was not at all, that when the Coke emailed you this video, you weren't very likely to share it, lower about 4.2. But if it was shared by a stranger, not even a friend, just a stranger, the chance that you liked it and wanted to share it was exponentially higher. There was a huge significant difference between the 5.1 and the 4.2. Now we added a third condition, and that's where a Coke employee shared the video with you. It was just John at CocaCola.com. And what was so fascinating here is that it skyrocketed. And the way that people reacted to that email from John at Coca-Cola versus Coke at Coca-Cola was fundamentally different. And the question that you ask yourself was why? Why would we see such a big shift? And when a person from Coke versus Coke sends it to you. And what we're finding is that in some cases, the customers step away from the brand. In other cases, they step toward it. And the reason why they're stepping toward Coke when a John from Coke sends it to you is for 3 reasons. We showed significant mediational paths with shifted context. So people said, I felt like it was shown in a context where it felt warm, it felt social. The second one was it grabbed my attention, it was engaging, it opened my mind, it made me feel connected to the world. So that showed an increased bump when it was shared by John at Coke versus Coke. And it was much more likely to make you smile and happy when John shared it with you versus not. So that was fascinating. And we could talk a lot about those findings. But what I also think was so interesting is, for the hell of it, we created a Facebook study. And on Coke's Facebook page, we had the exact same message. And then we did the same thing. We did a Facebook page from a stranger, a Coke employee, John at Coca-Cola again. And look at what we found. In that context, Coke outperformed, not significantly, but all of the conditions. And Coca-Cola's spreading of that video, or invitation to see that video and spread it, was warmly received.